Hey guys, this is Dane with Everything Board Games. Today we're going to be taking a look at Photosynthesis. This is a new title from Blue Orange Games and will be coming out this week at Gen Con. It's by designer Helmar Hawk, artist Sabrina Merriman. It plays 2 to 4 players for 45 to 60 minutes and is for ages 8 and up. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside the box. So inside the box we will find 4 player mats. These mats are where players will keep track of the energy that they earn and also the inventory of trees and seeds that they have. There's also a nifty little player reference at the bottom for purchasing and for planting seeds. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Here we have the main board where players will be planting their seeds and growing their trees, and around that we have our sun board that will actually rotate around the game as it progresses. We've got a first player token. We've got scoring tokens. We'll describe these a little bit later. And then we have round marker tokens here, and these go 1 to 4. And then last but not least, we have a bunch of trees. We've got 4 different types. This little burnt orange one, nice green spring one, a wintry evergreen tree, and then finally looks like this one might be a late summer tree. They're really cute, got a lot of details on them. You can see the little fox right there. These are great. So that's what comes in the box. Let's take a look at how the game plays. Alright guys, here we have a 4-player setup for Photosynthesis. I can't quite fit it all into the shot here, but basically we have each player board which is set up identical. I'll show you that in just a second. And then we've got the center board here which has the sun board that starts in the upper corner where the yellow dot is. And then each player, in turn order, starting with the first player, will put out one of their level 1 trees along the outside border of the board. And then lastly, we put the scoring tokens down here along the bottom. And now let's take a look at a close-up of one of the player boards. Okay, here we have one of the player boards. The first thing is that each player starts with 0 sun points or energy points. They have on their board, they have a row of seeds, a row of level 1 trees, level 2 trees, and level 3 trees. This is their inventory, and then off to the side of the board, you'll notice that there's 1 medium tree, 2 small trees, and 2 seeds. And this is their ready area. That's basically how you set up. Now let's see how to play. In Photosynthesis, players will be taking turns planting seeds and growing trees and collecting sunlight over multiple rounds, each round being broken up into 2 phases, the photosynthesis phase and the growing phase. Let's take a little bit closer look at how those phases work. First, in the photosynthesis phase, each player will collect sunlight based on where their tree is and the orientation of the sun. Now in the first turn, depending on where you've put your trees, most everybody is going to collect sunlight. As you can see, the sun points in a certain direction, which means the sunlight is coming this way. And any tree within its path, as long as it's not being blocked by another tree's shadow, will collect sunlight. Now, each tree collects different amounts of sunlight. The small trees, or the level 1 trees, collect 1 sunlight. The medium-sized trees, or the level 2 trees, will collect 2 sunlight. And then our big trees, level 3 trees, will collect 3 sunlight. Now, as I mentioned before, trees will collect sunlight as long as they are not in the shadow of another tree. Each tree, depending on its level, will cast the shadow. Level 1 trees cast the shadow 1 space away. So if this tree was right here, it would be blocked by the sun coming in and the shadow off of this tree right here. Now, level 2 trees will cast shadows 2 spaces away. So if this tree was here, this tree right here would block the sunlight coming in, creating a shadow coming over the top of this one. And then finally, the level 3 trees will actually cast shadows 3 spaces away. So again, if this level 3 tree was right here, it would cast the shadow over this one, making it so that you could not collect any sunlight in this photosynthesis phase. So going back to our example here, each player is going to collect 2 sunlight on this turn. You see this player has 2 trees that are each getting sun. This player also has 2, and this player does, and then finally this player also has 2. So everybody collects 2 sunlight on their turn, and we'll go ahead and move on to the growing phase. In the growing phase, players have a couple different options of what they can do. The first thing that they can do is they can buy trees and seeds out of their general supply or their inventory and move it out into their ready area. The cost of each of these items is indicated by the number next to it. It increases as you go up, and you always buy from the bottom moving up. The next thing that you can do is you can plant. You can take a seed from your ready area and move it out onto the board, and I'll explain how that works in just a second. Next, you can take a seed and grow it into a level 1 tree. You can take a level 1 tree and grow it into a level 2 tree. Or you can grow a level 2 tree into a level 3 tree. The cost associated for each of those is printed right here. Cost 1 to go from seed to tree. From small tree to medium tree, 2. Medium to large is 3. And then to score, which we'll talk about later, costs 4 energy to do. Let's talk really quick about how seeds come out onto the board. Okay, when placing seeds out onto the board, a seed has to be adjacent to the same kind of tree that it is, or that player's tree. For example, we've got the level 1 tree right here. Any seed of that player that comes out has to be adjacent to that tree. So for a level 1 tree, it's got to be right next to it. So he could put it in any of, take that. He can put it in any of these spaces, or he can place it in any of these spaces. Now, if the player has a level 2 tree on the board, this seed can actually go up to 2 spaces away. So he could be here, he could be here. And then lastly, for a level 3 tree, a seed can go up to 3 spaces away. So he can actually get all the way into the middle with that. Let's talk really quick about how you grow your tree. To grow your tree, you pay the cost that was referred to on the board, and then you take the next level up and you simply replace the tree on the board with the larger size, and then you take the smaller tree and you put it back on to your player board in your inventory in the highest spot on the board if there's space. If there's not space, it actually gets removed from the game. Let's go ahead and fast forward in this game a little bit and actually take you through a round. Okay, we fast forward a little bit in the game, and we've got some trees that are starting to pop up around our grove. And let's go ahead and take you through the different phases so you can see how it works out. Currently, our first player is over here. So we're going to start with the photosynthesis phase, and in that phase we're going to collect sunlight, and we're going to start with the first player and work our way around. As we can see, the first player has a tree right here of level 1, a level 2 tree here, a level 1 tree behind that one, as far as the way the sun's shining, and then a level 1 tree over here. So this player is going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 sunlight. The evergreen player has a level 1 tree here, a level 2 tree here, a level 1 behind this level 2, and then, that got bumped, and then a level 1 over here. Now again, the sunlight's moving this way, so he's going to get 1. He's taller, even though he casts a shadow, he's tall enough that he's still getting sunlight, so he'll get 2. This guy gets blocked by this one, and then this guy right here is wide open. So he's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. And then let's move to the red player. The red player has 1 tree here, 1, 2 here. This one's going to get blocked because he casts a shadow of 2, and he's going to get 1, and then he blocks himself right here. So he's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. Then let's go to our last player here. He has got a 2 tree here, a 1, a 2, and then 1 way back here. He's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 sunlight for the turn. Now let's break down the first player's turn and show you how that works. Let's take a look at the first player's board and break down the growing phase. As we said before, this player has earned 4 energy points from the photosynthesis phase. He had 1 left over from a previous turn, so he now has 5. And you can see he's got stuff in his ready area and still has stuff on his player board that he can purchase out. Now he has got a couple trees in the grove. He knows the sun is going to go around this way on the next turn, so he would like to probably bump this tree up. He's already got one right here ready to go. So what he's going to do is he's going to go ahead and grow from a level 2 tree up to a level 3 tree, and that's going to cost him 3 energy points. So he's going to spin that, go down to 2. He's going to take this tree and replace the little tree, and again he's got to return it to his player's board if there's room. So he goes ahead and puts it back in the highest level possible. He's got 2 more energy to spend. He is going to go ahead and grow this seed for the cost of 1 into a little tree. And that goes back on his player board. And then he's going to go ahead and plant for 1 another seed. Now remember, he's got to go at least 1 away from those, but up to 2 away from those. He's going to go ahead and plant this one here. That way when the sun comes around, he can grow and maybe block this player. So that is a breakdown of the growing phase and how that would work. Now, let me show you how to score. Okay, we fast forward in the game a little bit again so we can show you how to score. As you can see, the light green player has built a level 3 tree here and has been getting 3 sunlight from it each sun phase or photosynthesis phase, and is now ready to score. So in order to score, this player will have to spend 4 energy. We'll remove the tree from the board and put it back on their player board, and then we'll take the top scoring tile of the matching level that it's in. His tree was in a level 3 area, so he will take the top scoring token, which matches that level 3 area, and puts it next to him, next to his player board. So that's how you play the game. The game is played for 3 rounds. 1 round is a full revolution of the sun. Once all 3 rounds have finished, players will add up their scoring tokens, and the player with the highest score wins. Alright, so what do I think about photosynthesis? This game is very easy to set up, to learn, and to teach. Your first go around, you're going to take a little bit of time because you're going to be punching out all the trees and putting them together, but after that, getting a game going is just less than 5 minutes. It's also very easy to teach to other players. The rules are not complicated, but the really great thing about this game is that even though it is pretty simple to teach and to learn, there is still a good amount of strategy available. Players can decide whether or not they are going to build up tall trees and try to collect a lot of sunlight, or if they're going to try to score early and often throughout the game. You will decide whether or not you want to try to block other players from upcoming photosynthesis phases and beat them to the sunlight. Whether or not you're going to try to go for the inner circle, or whether you will stay outside and take the lower point tokens but get more of them quicker. There's just a lot going on, a lot of different decisions you can make. Very well balanced in those decisions. I haven't seen one strategy work over another yet. I just really enjoy the fact that this game is easy, but yet at the same time has a lot of depth to it. Next, I want to talk about the artwork. The artwork in photosynthesis is amazing. The detail on the trees, the cute little hidden Easter eggs, if you will, that they put on the different pieces of artwork. I think I showed you a squirrel or a chipmunk earlier. You can see on this guy we have a little rabbit in there. Some of them have birds up in the leaves. Just a lot of fun stuff going on. And man, when you get this game on the table and you've played a couple rounds, people will stop and look. It is amazing looking on the table, as you can see from what I've got set up here. It's probably not doing it any justice either, but it's very good. Overall, photosynthesis is a hit. We've already played it many, many times. It's one that I will be keeping in my collection. Blue Orange Games has done a great job adding another light Euro game to their set, which includes titles like King Domino, New York 1901, and Vikings on Board. This game is a great gateway game that will help get new people into the hobby and help vitalize it and keep it going strong into the future. I give Photosynthesis 2 spruce trees up, and we'll be adding it to my collection. If you have a chance, check it out. If you're going to Gen Con this weekend, check it out there. If not, definitely try to get this one to the table. It's a good one. Thanks for watching. This is Dane with Everything Board Games. We'll catch you next time.